My girlfriend's friends laughed. Look at his car. Is he your boyfriend or your Uber driver? She stayed silent. I just said, all right, and kept finishing my fries. Moments later, someone rushed in from outside, stopped right beside me, held out a key, and said something that made all of them freeze mid-laugh. I'm 35, and until last weekend, I thought I was in a relationship where we respected each other. My girlfriend and I had been together for about 18 months. We met through a dating app, had a normal courtship, no red flags early on. She worked in marketing, made decent money. I do consulting work, good income, flexible hours, comfortable life. Nothing flashy, but stable. The problems started subtle. Maybe 3 months ago. She began making comments about my car. I drive a practical sedan, paid off, reliable, gets me where I need to go. Nothing wrong with it. But she'd started dropping hints about how nice her coworkers' cars were. How one guy drove a luxury SUV, another had a sports car. Never direct criticism, just observations. I didn't think much of it at first. People notice cars, whatever. But then it became more frequent. We'd be out somewhere and she'd point out expensive vehicles in parking lots. That's a nice one. Must be successful. Always with this tone that implied something about me. I should have addressed it then, should have asked her directly what she meant by those comments. But I didn't want to seem insecure or paranoid. I told myself she was just making conversation, that I was reading too much into it. Looking back, my gut was telling me something I didn't want to hear. Last Friday, she invited me to meet some of her friends for dinner, a group she'd known since college. I'd met them once before, briefly, but this was supposed to be a proper hangout. She seemed excited about it, so I agreed. She'd been talking about this dinner for 2 weeks, mentioning how much she wanted her friends to really get to know me. The plan was to meet at this burger place downtown around 7 p.m. I picked her up from her apartment around 6:45. She came down wearing a nice outfit, more dressed up than usual for a casual dinner. Got in the car, kissed me hello, seemed normal. We drove to the restaurant, found parking on the street about a block away. As we were walking up, I noticed her scanning the street, looking at the other cars parked nearby. She slowed down when she saw a sports car, made a comment about how nice it looked. I should have known then that the night wasn't going to go well. We got inside. Her friends were already there, 4 of them, seated at a large booth near the back. 2 women, 2 men, everyone around her age, late 20s to early 30s. They waved us over. Introductions happened. Everyone ordered drinks, appetizers, the usual. Conversation was fine at first. Work stuff, weekend plans, some inside jokes I didn't get, but that's normal with old friends. I tried to participate where I could, mostly just listened and observed the dynamic. Then one of the guys, the one who apparently worked in finance, started talking about cars. He'd just leased something new, was showing photos on his phone. Everyone was looking, commenting, saying how nice it was. Yeah, I figured it was time for an upgrade, he said. Can't be driving around in something ordinary forever, you know? Everyone laughed. My girlfriend laughed too. I noticed she laughed a little harder than the joke warranted. The other guy chimed in. I'm thinking about trading mine in next year. Looking at SUVs, something with presence. Presence is important, one of the women said. Says something about you. I just ate my burger. This wasn't really my conversation. I'd heard this kind of talk before. People who measured success by visible displays. It usually bored me more than bothered me. Then my girlfriend's friend, the one I'd met briefly before, looked at me. What do you drive? Just a sedan. Nothing special. What kind? I told her the make and model. It's a mid-range car. Perfectly fine. Reliable. Gets good gas mileage. Everything I need in a vehicle. She made a face. Not obviously rude, but definitely a reaction. Oh, that's practical. It works for what I need. The finance guy smirked. Practical. That's one word for it. My girlfriend didn't say anything. just looked down at her plate. I caught that, registered it, felt something shift in my chest. Then it happened. The other woman, the one sitting at the end of the booth, looked at my girlfriend and said it. Look at his car. Is he your boyfriend or your Uber driver? They all laughed. Every single one of them. Even the finance guy who'd just met me. Like it was the funniest thing they'd heard all week. The kind of mean-spirited laughter that's designed to exclude and diminish. I looked at my girlfriend, waited for her to say something. Defend me, shut it down, anything. Even a simple, "That's not cool" would have been enough. She stayed silent. Just gave this uncomfortable smile and looked away. Didn't meet my eyes. Didn't say a word in my defense. I put down my burger. All right, that's all I said. Just all right. Then I picked up a few more fries, ate them slowly while everyone kind of moved on to another topic. The moment passed for them. For me, something had shifted fundamentally. I wasn't angry. I was just clear. Clear about what had just happened and what it meant. I finished my food. Didn't rush. Didn't make a scene. Just ate like normal while half listening to their conversation about weekend plans and some party someone was throwing. The finance guy was talking about bottle service. Someone else was debating which club to go to. About 10 minutes later, I was getting ready to excuse myself to the bathroom when the restaurant door opened. A guy in a suit walked in, looked around, spotted me, and walked straight to our table. "There you are," he said. "Sorry I'm late. Took forever to find parking." I looked up. It was my business partner. We'd been working on a consulting project together for the past 6 months. He held out a key. "Here's the key to the office space. The building manager dropped it off at my place this morning. Figured you'd need it for tomorrow's client meeting." I took the key. "Thanks. Appreciate it." He glanced at the table, at everyone staring at him. "Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt dinner. I'll let you get back to it." But one of my girlfriend's friends, the finance guy, spoke up. "Wait, office space? What do you do?" My business partner looked at me, then back at him. "We run a consulting firm together. Been building it for about 3 years now." "What kind of consulting?" "Business strategy, operational efficiency, that kind of thing. We work with mid-sized companies mostly. Help them streamline, improve margins, restructure when needed." "Sounds interesting. Is it going well?" My partner smiled. "We just closed a contract yesterday that'll bring in about $400,000 over the next 8 months. So yeah, I'd say it's going well." The table went completely silent. You could hear the restaurant noise around us, other conversations, dishes clattering, music playing, but at our table, dead silence. He looked at me again. "Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Client wants to tour the facility before we present." "Sounds good." He left. The silence continued for about 10 more seconds before the finance guy cleared his throat. "So, you own a consulting firm?" "Co-own. Started it with him about 3 years ago. Been building it slowly." "And you're working on a $400,000 contract?" "That's just one contract. We have several running simultaneously. That one's just the biggest active one right now." My girlfriend stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "You never mentioned this. You never asked about my work. Every time I tried to talk about it, you changed the subject or looked at your phone. I thought you just did, like, freelance stuff." "I do consulting. That's what I've been telling you for 18 months. That's literally what I say when people ask what I do." One of the women spoke up. "But your car? What about it?" "It's just, if you're making that kind of money, why drive that?" I looked at her. "Because I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I drive what's practical. I invest the money I make instead of spending it on things meant to impress people at stoplights." The Uber driver comment maker looked like she wanted to disappear into the booth. The finance guy was suddenly very interested in his drink. I stood up, pulled out my wallet, left enough cash to cover my portion of the meal plus tip. "I'm gonna head out. Good meeting you all." My girlfriend stood up too. "Wait, I'm coming with you." You should stay. Enjoy time with your friends. No, I want to come. I looked at her, really looked at her. You didn't say anything when they made fun of my car. You just sat there. I didn't know what to say. You could have said anything. That's rude. Don't talk about him like that. He's my boyfriend and I don't appreciate that. Literally anything. Instead, you chose silence. That says enough. I was shocked. I didn't expect them to say that. But you've been thinking it. All those comments about other people's cars, all those hints. You've been embarrassed by what I drive for months. That's not true, isn't it? I walked out. She followed me to my car, my practical, paid off, apparently embarrassing car. Please, can we talk about this? What's there to talk about? Your friends insulted me. You said nothing. That's pretty clear. I was shocked. I didn't expect them to say that. But you've been thinking it. All those comments about other people's cars, all those hints. You've been embarrassed by my car for months. I never said that. You didn't have to, and tonight proved it. When your friends said out loud what you've been thinking, you didn't correct them. You didn't defend me. You just sat there and let it happen. I unlocked the car, got in. She got in the passenger side. The drive back to her apartment was silent. When I pulled up, she didn't move. So what now? She asked. I don't know. I need time to think. Are you breaking up with me? I'm saying I need time to think about whether I want to be with someone who cares more about appearances than actual substance. That's not fair. You let your friends mock me and said nothing. How is that fair? She got out of the car, slammed the door. I drove home. Update 1. That was Friday night. She texted me Saturday morning, "We need to talk." I didn't respond immediately. I needed space to process what had happened. Not just the dinner, but what it revealed about our relationship. She called around noon. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message saying she was sorry, that her friends were out of line, that she should have defended me. All true. But also, not addressing the real issue. Sunday afternoon, she showed up at my apartment. I answered the door because avoiding her forever wasn't sustainable. Can I come in? I guess. We sat in my living room. She looked like she'd been crying. Part of me felt bad. Most of me was still processing everything. I'm really sorry. What they said was horrible. I should have shut it down immediately. Why didn't you? I don't know. I froze. I didn't want to cause drama. But you were fine with them causing drama at my expense? No. I didn't think before I reacted. Or didn't react. The problem isn't just that moment. The problem is that you've been making comments about my car for months. You've been implying I should drive something more expensive. Like my perfectly good car is somehow beneath you. I never meant it that way. How did you mean it then? She didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Because we both knew what she'd meant. You know what I realized? I continued. You don't actually know what I do for work. You've never asked details, never showed interest, just assumed I was some regular guy with a regular job. And that was fine when you thought I was on your level or below it. But now that you know I'm probably doing better than you financially, suddenly you're interested. That's not true, isn't it? When was the last time you asked about my work, about my projects, about what I do all day? She thought about it. I don't know. Exactly. You didn't care. You judged me based on my car and made assumptions, and you were embarrassed by those assumptions in front of your friends. What do you want me to say? I want you to be honest. Do you want to be with me, or do you want to be with someone who drives a car your friends will be impressed by? She started crying again. I want to be with you. But you also want the car. That's not, you can't have both. Either you accept me as I am, practical car and all, or you don't. But I'm not changing who I am to impress your friends. I'm not asking you to change. Then what are you asking? I'm asking for another chance, to prove I'm not as shallow as I seem. Update 2. I told her I needed more time. She left. I spent the next few days thinking, talking to my business partner about it, talking to my own friends. Everyone had opinions, but ultimately the decision was mine. Wednesday, my business partner and I met with the client. The meeting went well. We secured the contract, finalized terms, celebrated with lunch afterward. So, he said over lunch, want to talk about what happened at that restaurant? You mean the Uber driver comment? Yeah, that was rough. Is your girlfriend always around people like that? Her friends from college. I'd only met them once before. Didn't realize they were that judgmental. And she didn't defend you? Nope, just sat there. That's tough. What are you going to do? Still figuring it out. Can I give you some unsolicited advice? Sure. You've worked hard to build what we have. 3 years of long hours, reinvesting profits, building a client base. You did that by staying focused and not trying to impress people with expensive toys. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for that. And definitely don't stay with someone who makes you feel like your success isn't enough because you don't display it the way they want. He was right. I knew he was right. Thursday, my girlfriend texted again. Can we please talk? I miss you. I called her. Let's meet for coffee tomorrow. Okay. Where? I named a place near my office. We agreed on 3 p.m., Friday afternoon. I got there first, ordered my coffee, waited. She arrived 10 minutes late, looking nervous. Hi. Hi. We sat down. She immediately started apologizing again. I let her finish. I've been thinking a lot, I said. About us? About that night? About the past few months? Me too. And I realized something. You've been ashamed of me. Not of who I am as a person, maybe, but of how I present to the world. My car, my clothes, probably other things I haven't noticed. You've been hoping I'd change, become more visible with my success. I wouldn't say ashamed. What would you say then? She struggled to find words. I wanted you to show people you're successful. Because you are. You're doing so well. But people don't know that because you're so modest about it. And that bothers you. It bothers me when my friends assume you're less than you are. Less than I am. So you do see it as a hierarchy. And you were embarrassed that your boyfriend appeared to be lower on that hierarchy. That sounds terrible when you put it that way. How else should I put it? She looked down at her coffee. I don't know. Here's the thing. I could drive a luxury car. I could wear expensive clothes. I could show off. But that's not who I am. I'd rather invest my money, build my business, and live within my means while building wealth. That's my choice. And if you can't respect that choice, then we're fundamentally incompatible. I do respect it. You didn't respect it when your friends mocked it and you said nothing. I know. I messed up. But I can change. I can be better about that. Can you? Or will you just be better at hiding your disappointment? Because that's worse. Update 3. We talked for another hour. She insisted she could change, that she'd learned her lesson, that she understood now why what happened was wrong. She talked about how she'd been reflecting on her values, on what really mattered in a relationship. I wasn't convinced. Words are easy. Actions are harder. I need to see it, I told her, not just hear it. I need to see that you actually value substance over appearance. How can I show you that? I don't know. That's something you need to figure out. We left the coffee shop with things unresolved. She texted me over the weekend, asking to meet again. I was busy with work. We had client presentations, contract negotiations, the usual. We scheduled dinner for Monday. Monday night, we met at a different restaurant. She seemed different, more serious, more grounded somehow. I talked to my friends, she said. Told them what they said was unacceptable. Told them they owed you an apology. What did they say? They were defensive at first, but eventually, most of them admitted they were out of line. The one who made the Uber comment actually sent me a message to pass along to you. She's sorry. Okay. And I've been thinking about why I reacted the way I did, or didn't react. And I think it's because I've been insecure about myself, about whether I'm successful enough. And I was projecting that onto you, wanting you to display success so I could feel successful by association. That's pretty self-aware. I'm trying. I really am. Trying is good, but I still don't know if it's enough. Her face fell. What else can I do? I don't know if there's anything you can do. This isn't about grand gestures. It's about whether we value the same things, and I'm not sure we do. We can work on that. Can we? Or are we just too different in how we see the world? We went back and forth. She wanted to fight for the relationship. I was less certain it was worth fighting for. Every time I looked at her, I remembered her sitting there in silence while her friends mocked me. I remembered all those comments about cars over the past months. I remembered feeling like I was never quite enough for her. Final update. We tried for another month. She made efforts, real ones, stopped commenting about cars entirely, showed more interest in my work, asking questions about projects and clients, defended me when her friends made jokes, which happened once more, and she did speak up immediately. But something had changed fundamentally. I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. Every time she complimented my car or said she didn't care about material things, I wondered if she meant it or if she was just performing growth. The trust was broken. About 6 weeks after the restaurant incident, we met for dinner again. It was supposed to be a date night, trying to reconnect and rebuild what we'd had. Instead, I ended it. I don't think this is working, I told her. Why? I've been trying so hard. I know, and I appreciate that, but I can't get past it. Every time I look at you, I remember you sitting there while your friends mocked me. And I don't think that's fair to either of us. She cried, asked me to reconsider, told me she'd changed, that she was different now, that those things didn't matter to her anymore. Maybe she was different. Maybe she had changed, but I couldn't trust it. And a relationship without trust isn't worth saving. We broke up that night, civil, sad, but necessary. It's been 3 months now. I'm doing fine. Work's busy. The business is growing. We landed 2 more major contracts, hired 3 new consultants, and opened a second office. I'm dating someone new, someone I met through work, actually. She drives a modest car, too. We've talked about money and success and what matters. We're on the same page. I saw my ex once, about a month ago, at a coffee shop downtown. She was getting into a car with someone, guy I didn't recognize, driving an expensive SUV. She looked happy. I hope she is. I genuinely do. As for me, I still drive the same car, still live modestly, still building wealth quietly. And I'm fine with that. More than fine. The right person won't care what car you drive. They'll care about who you are, what you value, how you treat people. Took me a failed relationship to really understand that, but I get it now. And honestly, that dinner, as humiliating as it was in the moment, did me a favor. Better to find out who someone is when they think you're less successful than when they know you're doing well. At least then, you know they're judging you honestly, not performing acceptance for benefit.